Hello, Namaskar. Welcome to English Needs channel. I am Mr. Vijendra. I have served the Department of Pre-University Education, Karnataka as a lecturer in English. Whenever an existing system doesn't deliver or doesn't do what it is supposed to do, then it is better we change the system. The problem is that a large number of students, especially from Kannada medium background, have been failing in English language in the final examinations of SSLC and in second PUC. And there is a problem. I say that there is a problem in teaching, learning and testing of languages, especially the languages that are not the mother tongue of the students. Maybe it is English second language or Hindi third language or second language, whatever it is. We can't just blame either the teachers or the students for such a large number of failures. There has to be something that is lacking in the system that we have to pinpoint. This is the problem that we have to address now. That's what I am doing it now. I have found some flaws in the system. If we correct them, then we can hope for better results in both SSLC as well as second PUC. I wonder why these flaws have been ignored. Because of the mistake of the teachers, students have been suffering a lot. Now, what I am going to tell you may seem to you very absurd, and you know that we are in the era of brainstorming. Even we find some sense in nonsense also. If you find my idea something absurd, something nonsense, find some sense in it. Let the discussion begin. Ponder over it. If all of you agree with me, and then we can incorporate some changes so that the system works better. That's what we want. Some changes have been incorporated to enhance the passing percentage. That is, 20 marks have been allotted for internal assessments. Now, this system will make sure that some of the students, those who were failing, taking just 26, 27 and 28 marks, or even 31, 32, 33, for such students, now it is good. But when we think of the enhancement in teaching learning process, are we sure that this is going to enhance the skill development, which is crucial and which is what we want? This 80-20 is to make sure that most of the students just pass and go to the next class. Today in this video, I am going to concentrate or focus on the questions carrying 1 mark. What is the problem with this system? I request all of you to watch this video till the end so that the things will be clear. I have told the problem also, I have given the solution also. The solution to the problem is at the end of the video. Please watch till the end. So let me take up some examples from second PUC final examination question paper, old question paper and the model question paper also. Questions from March 2019 annual examination. What is the population of the Kingdom of Monaco? This question is very easy to understand and the students need to know only the word what, population, and it is concerned with Monaco. And I am sure that more than 95% of the students can understand this question. But only 10 to 15% of the students will be able to answer this question. How many acres of land did Basavaya encroach? This question is little difficult for some students because of the word encroach. To answer this question, one has to remember the figure 200 acres. Next question, how much money did the leader of POP campaign team offer Roof? To answer this question, a student must remember the figure 5 pounds. Now observe these 3 questions carefully for the level of difficulty of understanding the questions. The first question is relatively easy to understand than the second and the third question. In order to get the marks for these questions, a student must remember the figures. Merely understanding of the question is not enough here. June 2019. How much of Tamanna's land did Basavaya acquire forcibly? This question was asked in the previous examination. There is only little difference of wordings. Next question. How long had Roof been a bicycle repairer's apprentice? This is a killer question. This is the worst question that anybody can give in the examination. These two questions elicit the figures, that is a data from the student's memory. So they test memory. March 2020. How much did the French government demand in the lesson 2 This is the favorite question of many lecturers. More than 50% of the students fail to answer this question correctly because there is a confusion among 600 francs, 12,000 francs and 16,000 francs. If this question is asked in the forthcoming examination now, it will have 4 options. Again, these figures are among these only. That is 600 francs, 12,000 francs, 16,000 francs and 1600 francs. Don't you think these options create confusion in the students? The student who has read the lesson several times and recollected these facts and figures many times only can answer this question. Remember this. This is the toughest question I can say. This question is also regarded as one of the worst questions possible. Now let me explain you why it is so. Each question has 2 elements in that. One is the content, the other is the language element. Now whatever the questions I have mentioned here, these questions are predominant in content element. That means we are eliciting information or a data. By giving such questions, we are testing only the memory of the student, which we are not supposed to do. This is where we are going wrong. Our interest is to go for language element. That means whatever the words we have used in the question, whether it is known to the student or not, our sole aim is to test whether the student understands the question or not. Now here is a question. What was the population of Monaco? Here if a student knows the word what, then population and Monaco. If you ask the student to say whether he has understood this question, and let him translate it and say. Let us assume that he translates it well because he knows the word population, then he knows the word what. In the textbook, the population is about 7,000. Now if he has forgotten this and if he writes 5,000, then also you have to award him the marks. Here you may feel that it is absurd because the very question is wrong. The framing of the question is wrong. If you frame a question that elicits some data or information, then you become a content subject teacher, not the language teacher, because you are eliciting only the information here. It is a data. If he remembers, he answers it well. If he doesn't remember, he loses the mark. This is the injustice that is caused to the students. Now you see the impact of this. Many of us think that 1 mark questions are very easy to tackle because there is only one sentence and they have to give the answer even in 1 word also. Therefore, we feel that they are very easy. But on the contrary, these are the toughest questions possible because they elicit data or they elicit information. the time and energy of the students is focused on remembering the facts contained in each of the lines of every lesson and a poem. There are 14 units. Average, you can frame about 100 questions. That means for PUC second year students, as many as 1400 questions are possible, 1 mark questions. It means 1400 bits of information has to be kept in the memory. Think about the tremendous pressure on the students we put. Our students are already burdened with a hell a lot of information. The core subjects already contain a huge body of knowledge. The students have to remember hell a lot of things. At least let us not put that burden, and it works contrary to our interest. Our main aim of skill development is hampered by this. We do more harm than good to the students by asking such questions. There are some teachers who frame such questions which elicit some very insignificant facts or figures from the text. For example, a question from the lesson voter was asked, how many years did Roof serve as the apprentice to cycle repairer? It is so very remote. It means that we are expecting the students to remember each and every word contained in each of the sentences of the whole textbook. How difficult it is. We have made the matter worse. This is totally injustice, because most of us still think that we are content subject teachers. This is the problem. After the examination, I have seen lecturers opening the textbooks and looking for the answer. We have been using the present textbook, I think, for the last 10 or 11 years. And every year we teach the same thing. But still we don't remember certain facts, certain remote facts. We go and refer. They are not in our memory. Then how can you expect a student to remember the whole body of knowledge what is given in the textbook? Text is only the pretext. It is only to read and understand the English language. We, the language teachers, should bother about only LSRW: listening, speaking, reading and writing. So when we give primacy to the information or the content, we definitely lose sight of LSRW. When our energy is completely concentrated on remembering and retaining the bits of information contained in the whole text, then we cannot focus on the language aspect. That is the reason even those who are studying in degree classes are unable to make simple sentences, leave about complex sentences. They are unable to frame the simple questions. They are unable to use question tags, and most of them do not know subject-verb agreement. This is happening because we have given more importance to the content. Therefore, the questions what they are asking now in the examination should never be asked English language or any other language, is for developing the skills of the language, not the content. So 1 mark questions do more harm than good to the student. So therefore these questions should be done away with. We should never ask 1 mark questions. Recently there has been some change. Now instead of giving only the question, they are providing 4 alternatives. And we think that we have made it easy for the students. by giving 4 options. No, again we are going wrong. Now about the population of Monaco, what alternatives you give? One 7,000 you will give, one about 7,000 you will give, because in the text it is mentioned about 7,000, 6,000 and 4,000 or something like that. The student has understood the question. Actually, he should get the marks. If he fails to give the correct answer, that is about 7,000, he will not get the mark for it. This is totally wrong, and we have to realize that we are not content subject teachers. We are not here to test the memory of these students. Testing memory is not our concern. Testing the skill of the language is our prime motto. Our question should test only the language skills, not the content. So please come out of that old mindset that we are content subject teachers. Okay, in case if you want to ask such questions, let us make it little meaningful. Now let me give you some examples of such questions which can be asked in the examination. Rule 1. The answer to the question should relate to the main theme of the lesson. It means that the question should not seek insignificant details or remote details. Here are some examples. Monaco is a dash country. Now let me give you the justification for framing this question. First, that there is a direct statement that it is a tiny little kingdom. Apart from this statement, there are 3 points that describe that it is a tiny country. 7,000 population, 60 men army and less than 7,000 acres of land. These 3 indicate that it is a small country. Therefore, anybody who listens to the story once, twice, definitely will remember this point. This cannot be forgotten easily. So, this question is relevant. The next point is very important, that is the choice of the options. So, when we give the options, except for the answer, all 3 should be unrelated one. Totally unrelated if you give, it is very good, so that anybody can easily relate the correct one and rule out the other 3. The second question, the purpose of establishing Naudanya form was to dash dash dash. Justification. Naudanya form is one of the main features in the lesson. It is very much prominent. Therefore, question on this can be asked. Now, look at the answer choices options. Here, except for C, that is to promote biodiversity farming, all other options are totally irrelevant and are nowhere connected to the question. If the student understands both the question as well as the answer options, then definitely he will relate the correct option or correct answer with the question asked. So, here there is no necessity of remembering anything here, only understanding the language. If someone understands the language, then he can very well answer it well. Here we don't test the memory, we test only the comprehending capability, that is skills of reading and understanding. Let me take one more example to make you understand better. The owner of the farm in the gardener became lethargic or lazy because. Now look at the answer options. He was quite busy in the new business. A man who is busy cannot be lethargic. If the student understands this line properly, then he can easily rule it out. B, he went on a tour, and C, he has no friends to talk to. These two are also totally unrelated to the question asked. The last option, the old man did all the work. In this story,
there is a mention of the old man. Therefore, this answer directly relates to the question asked. This is the way to frame 1 mark questions.
I hope I have made myself very clear. I have a lot to tell, but the video is getting lengthier. Therefore, I will take up the other matters in the next videos. Now that this has to reach to all those who are concerned with this topic, let the people know about this so that correction could be done at all the levels. Thank you for watching this video and please subscribe my channel. You find it at the end of the video.